Hello everyone, Silver here, welcome to my FreeSpace Story video series. In this first part we will have a look at the events that take place before the main story of FreeSpace 1. Before we start, let me issue a spoiler warning because while it is not that severe in this video, this series will give away some story points of the FreeSpace games. And now let's jump back 10,000 years into the past. At that time, an advanced race, which is only known as the Ancients, controlled a vast part of the Milky Way galaxy. They had mastered FTL travel via subspace and even created subspace portals to stabilize unstable subspace corridors and make them available for interstellar travel. By that, they had created a large interstellar empire that came close to the area of space where the Terran system is located. However, the Ancients never made contact with Earth, which is good for the human race because the Ancients were a quite aggressive, expansionist and supremacist race, believing that all other life forms were inferior to them, and so when they encountered another life form they usually completely exterminated that other life form. That all changed when round about 8000 BC the Ancients encountered a previously unknown species that was even more advanced and older than they were. As usual, the Ancients attacked their ships on sight. And although they were quite successful in the early engagements, they had to realize that this other race was quite more powerful than they were. For the first time in centuries, the Ancients were defeated and had to retreat, but the others followed them and hunted them relentlessly. They showed no interest in the planets they conquered or the resources they could get on those planets. Their only goal seemed to be to completely annihilate every last trace of the Ancients. Since no contact had been established with the other race, the Ancients only knew them as the Destroyers. And they lived up to that name. The Ancients' empire, built over the course of many centuries, crumbled under their assault, and one by one their systems fell. The Ancients speculated why the others were so relentless in their pursuit, and came to the assumption that the Destroyers regarded subspace as their domain and punished everyone who would dare to trespass it. Shortly before their annihilation, the Ancients discovered a weakness in the Destroyers' technology. Their mighty shields that protected their ships did not work while inside subspace. And although the Ancients had the technology to track and follow a ship into subspace, they now lacked the opportunity to use that knowledge. So they buried their knowledge in secured vaults on distant planets of their empire and awaited their final annihilation, which eventually came. And of their mighty empire only a few ruins remained. Which makes us take a jump to the early 24th century. By the year 2313, the human race has finally overcome their internal struggles and has united under the banner of the Galactic Terran Alliance, GTA. They have mastered faster than light travel via subspace, at least within their solar system, and used this technology to explore the system and begin to colonize it. Traveling to other solar systems, however, was impossible, up until the year 2313, when scientists discovered that there are naturally occurring subspace corridors between solar systems. At specific positions within a solar system, so-called jump nodes exist, where it is possible to enter those subspace corridors and travel to other star systems. The GTA used that knowledge and created a large-scale program to explore those systems and colonize them as well. And so, over the course of the next few years, several adjacent systems were explored and colonized. In the year 2320 then, the GTA finally made contact with another sentient race. They called themselves the Vesudans, coming from the planet of Vesuda Prime in the Vesuda star system. They too were a humanoid race with similar features to the human race. First contact was rather difficult though, thanks to the Vesudans' complex culture with numerous customs, rituals and protocols nearly incomprehensible for an alien outsider. Another problem was that the Vesudan physiology made it impossible for them to create basic sounds needed for human languages, while on the other hand, the Vesudan language was so complicated and complex that the best Terran linguists were unable to decipher it. After some time, a translator was eventually created that allowed both sides to communicate with another, but that didn't stop the problems. Less than a year later, the problems that had already shown in the rocky start of the relationship between Terrans and Vesudans had only escalated further. In 2321 the breaking point was finally reached. A mishandling of a protocol called the Conversation by a Terran representative caused the start of a war between the Terrans and the Vesudans. This war would go on for several years and would bring both species to the brink of annihilation, but would also cause a series of events that would change the destiny of those two species forever. And that's it for the first part of this series. In the next part we will have a look at the events that took place at the end of the Terran-Vesudan War and at the beginning of what was later called the Great War, the events of FreeSpace 1. Thank you so far for watching, see you in one of my next videos if you like to, and until then, take care and goodbye.